Dave here, how are you? Today on the show we're going to swing that gate. That's the one we made last week on the show. In the meantime I've cut it and sanded and put a round over it, painted, all that kind of stuff. So it's the second gate, so that'll be a pair. And you'll notice also I've put in a whole heap of posts over here. They go round the back of the building. We are going to fit a fence panel, which is, see that black thing leaning against the wall there? And also over here you'll see I've got a top piece of timber that I've put some fancy cuts on the top, painted it, and we will pocket hole that in over here in the first panel, this one here. This is going to stop the wallaby attacking my garden. Let's have a quick look around the back here. I'll spin you around, sorry. So around the back, you can see I've already done one panel. They look pretty slick. So stay tuned. If you want to see how I did all of this, I'll show you. See you soon. Dave here, how are you? Dave here, how are you? Today is the 16th of April 2023. You may end up getting a little bit of wind noise coming through the microphone. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to find the little fluffy thing that goes on the end of it, but I couldn't find it. Now, you'll notice that there's a lot of glare here at the moment because outside is bright. This is looking in and it's having a hard time adjusting exposure, but if we go to one of these other cameras, you'll see that it's going to be okay as we're moving along. The first thing we're going to do is throw a couple of hinges on this gate. Now that's the gate that we made last week. AV is all good. Excellent, excellent. Good morning everyone, and a lot more posts now. He has retired. It will be. All right, so over here, this gate here, I'm going to put the hinges on that first off. So I'll switch back to this camera while I set up, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy this show. The hinges that I've got, let me see if I've got some scissors or something to cut this pack open. These are Scotch T hinges. They're 200mm, and I'll grab a pair of scissors so I can get that ready. One thing that I didn't do, obviously. They come packaged, obviously, and I want to do this without cutting myself. Got that one, and then this one here. Now the show's not going to be as slow as this. This is terrible. I should have opened these up. Done. Scotch T hinge. They do have a little bit of movement here, so I'm going to show you a couple of things about that. Now we have countersunk holes, and when I put it on the gate, I'm going to make sure that I have the back leaf folded over. The knuckle will be out. I'm going to lay this across the top rail or the bottom rail, whichever comes first. And then we're going to use a self-centering drill bit to work with these particular screws that they gave me. The galvanized screws. These are galvanized. Don't get zinc coated if you're going to do outside stuff. Zinc coated is okay if you're going to paint, I guess, but I'm leaving the galvanized exposed. I've got helpers here too. All right, I'm going to switch over to the other camera. There we go. Pierre, stay over here. All right. And when I said you put the leaf like that, and I'm going to center this part here because I have a tenon in behind there. Remember I put 3 dominoes in here? That domino is going to give me an awful lot of bite and hold. I'll do the same on the lower one as well. Remember, with the knuckle out. Okay, the self-centering drill bit, and I'll put that in one of these drills. It's this little guy here. So for people that haven't seen these before, there's a little countersink area there, and there's a tiny drill bit that comes out. It's spring-loaded inside here. Put it on fast. And the great thing about these is it perfectly centers the drill where I'm going. See that? I'll move the camera over so you can see that. See, all of the holes are just perfectly centered. There's no guesswork. Now the middle one, tip that up a little bit. This middle one is right on the hardwood tenon. So if I try and screw straight down into that, I'm going to run into trouble, because one of 2 things will happen. I'll snap the drill, I'll snap the screw, or I'll split the tenon. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to drill a pilot hole through that as well. Look, while I've got it all there, I may as well do the other one. I'll swing that around a little bit. Again, center of the joint is where I'm going to go, just here. These are great. These self-centering drills are absolutely fantastic. I wish I had them when I was an apprentice. Take that one out. And I did say I was going to put a small drill in there. You've just read about my retirement, eh? Ah, well, we all have to do it, I guess, at one stage, sooner or later. I might go a 2.5 millimeter. Yeah, I'm going to put a 2.5 millimeter drill down through there. 2.5 millimeters. Let me see if I can work that out for you. It's possibly just over 3 millimeters is an eighth. So 2.5, I'm just below an eighth. So let's say 3/16, something like that. No. Yeah, 3/16 is probably very close to it. Again, just drilling that center one here. I don't need to do the others. You can see the different, well, you may not be able to see it, but there's different color sawdust coming out. That'll do. And then down here. It's because that tenon is mobile. All right. Let's put the screwdriver bit back in. What do you think about this outside thing? It's fraught with problems, but I think we've overcome it. One of the things that might happen is I might lose the stream, because one of the dogs might run over the internet cable or run through it and pull it out of the back of the computer, and then I've lost the show and I won't even know. All good fun. Okay, we're going to throw some screws in there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I always put hinges on the door or the gate first. Beautiful. Because it's a whole lot easier. You pick the gate up as a unit. Now that's going to bring it back into right position. You watch, it'll move that. There, do you see it twitch it around right at the end? I'm a weirdo. The strangest things turn me on. Anyway. And the last one. for there. Sometimes these screws fill up with a little bit of galvanizing because I think they're hot dipped. There we go, that's that one. We'll do the bottom one. I've been really excited about doing this because I wanted to actually finish it, but I had to hold off because otherwise wouldn't have a show. I'm going to move that camera over there in a second so you can see how I do the rest of the swinging. Ah, come on. Again, those little bits of dag of galvanizing get caught in there. When I get it started, I can push down on it and it clears it. Pain. But it's worth it. No rusting. And I think the pin in the hinge is brass. Gotcha. I'll put this over the back here. And as a matter of fact, I think I might switch over, lift that up a little bit so you can see what I'm doing over there. I might switch this drill over from that and put that one on there. Because then I have the two drills already set up, ready, set, go. So this is down in my backyard, outside my garage. And the reason I'm doing these gates is to stop the wallaby, because he eats my prunus trees. There's prunus trees all the way around there. There's 4 of them. And they act as shade. Well, the plan is for them to act as shade for the daphne. So I have daphne planted all the way around. Doing this gate so I can get in there, and I'm going to do fence panels right the way around. We'll do one fence panel today. I've already shown you what they're going to look like in the intro. All right. A couple of screws. I'll come back over here and have a bit of a read. Where are we? This one here. All right. Matthew, no, I don't have 3 dogs. I have one, the little French bulldog, Pierre. Vicky has one, Baroness, the pug, and that other one over there, the skinny one that's with a funny shaped nose, long nose, is my granddaughter's, Zoe's dog. That's a schnauzer, miniature schnauzer, I think. Okay. Yes, Robertson drives are much better, and I'll be using that further on today in the project. We might go over time again today, but that's fine. I never give up my VIX bits or my Amana countersink bit. They make such easy. Yes, they do. I bought you nothing for a retirement gift. Where's my retirement gift? I didn't even get a watch. Wally, okay, I'm confused. Whose house is in the background? That's my studio. So that used to be my office and my workshop. Over on this side was the workshop. I demolished it and I built that onto it. It's a lounge area. So if we have friends visit, that's where they stay. I'm on a couple of acres. We purchased, it was all landlocked land. No one else wanted it, so it was extremely cheap. We had the property up the front. We did boundary adjustments and then married all of this in for rates. So it doesn't cost me a fortune to have this size land. And if it wasn't for Vicky, we wouldn't have this. I said, we don't need it. It's all bush down there. No one's going to buy it. We can use it anytime we want. She said, no, buy it. So we did. We struggled and scraped and saved for ages, and we bought the land. And then we were allowed to build things down here. So BAs and DAs and everything, it's all good. So I'm over the moon. I love her. She's a wonderful woman. She really pushes me hard. Yeah, so this is the garage and the workshop in the back of the garage. House is way up the top of the street. So that's the layout. All right, these are the kinds of homes I used to build when I was a licensed builder. I used to build those things all the time. I did it for 25 years. And Vicky was my labourer. So her and we used to build these things. I would cut, she would lump all the wood over to me to the saw, we'd stand frames together. She's a wonderful woman. All right, next thing. I was going to read down here through here. Everyone's saying hi. G'day, John. Hope you're feeling well. Brad, I've missed a few videos from you, but if you built this gate from scratch, it looks stunning. Yes, built it from scratch. Look, while I'm doing this, I'm going to show you a viewer's project. So Sam sent me some photos of a gate or two that he built. So let's have a look. These are steel gates that he built for his daughter. So he's welding up and all the bottom section there, and then in position, here we go. Not bad. It looks a little bit familiar to my gates, doesn't it? All right, so Sam, give Sam a clap. He's give him a thumbs up. That's fantastic. I'm super impressed. So Sam loves watching. He's probably watching at the moment. Okay, now I'm going to take this over there. I'll spin that camera around. Where are we? From there, I think maybe like so. That should be okay. It'll give you enough of a view to see what we're doing here. This one. I am Matthew. I'm a very lucky man. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the gate in position, but I can't just pop it here and hope it's going to stay there. So I have that piece of wood was to stop this swinging backwards and forwards because it's been a little bit breezy today. How I'm going to do this is I have a block of wood that's pretty much the right height. And I'm going to pop it here. It's a little high. That's no good. I can't have it too high. So I'm going to get down on my knees and have a look down this way. Too high. I'm going to shave a little bit off this. Give me a second. I'll run it over the buzzer. That's inside in the workshop, so I can't go out there because I'll lose sound. And if I lose sound, it's going to be terrible. So I'm going to think of another way of doing it. What is another way of achieving that same height? I might be able to do it just by packing up different things on this, on this, on this, on this. It might work. So I've got that, and I've got some packers here. I tell you, these things are brilliant. I'll be using them during the show for different parts. There. And there. Have to move it down just a little bit. I think that'll work. Yep, that'll work. All right, going to put the hinge on here. I'll bring that camera in here now. I'm going to put the gate on there, I should say, not the hinge. And around like that. You're going to get a lot of wind noise coming through the microphone. Let me see how that's looking. Not bad. Not bad. Gate. Now I'm not doing anything strange at all with these. What I'll do is I'll sit it in there, and I'm hoping it's going to fit. I was nearly worried then. I was nearly worried. It's going everywhere, isn't it? What had happened was, I just dropped that down on the ground. This part down here had turned around and was hitting this. And I was thinking, oh my God, what's happened? I've got too much paint on there. It's okay. pack these up again so it doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm going to lift this up slowly and drop it onto that packer. Beautiful. That's starting to look good. All right. Now you'll notice I have here a wide gap, a no gap. And I have a gap there, a no gap. So I'm going to use these things. Whoop, without it blowing over. I told you it was a bit windy. I need to work pretty quickly here. So I'm going to pack this side with that. And that's reducing the gap a little bit. My tops are good. I'm going to spin that around. Oh, that is so upsetting. I didn't take allowance for that. I did not make allowance for that. How am I going to get over this, David? I have an answer. What's happening is the plate, the other leaf, is wider than the piece of timber I've got here as the mount point. Now I'm thinking what I might do, I think I'm going to put a mark on there and I'll get the multi-tool and I'll do some cuts into the weatherboard so it can ease in. I can seal that, that's not a problem. I think that's going to look a whole lot better than trying to cut the back off the hinge with an angle grinder. That'd look horrible and it'd rust. So I think I'll do the multi-tool trick. All right, I'm going to take this off, get the multi-tool, bring it back out here and do that part. There we go. That's annoying, that is so annoying, but it's live. I keep on telling everyone, this is live, mistakes and all. Hopefully I don't lose sound. We shall see as I come over here and come back out. And these. Because what happened on the show last week was airbags. Yeah, they do. Yes, the clamp does do that. Yeah. All right, I'm still listening to what people are saying out there, but I think the sound is still good. Vicky has a pair of airbags. Now why? Because when she does her resin chessboards, she needs to set it dead flat. Otherwise the resin will go off to one side and that's no good. Okay, so I've got that. This will make a bit of noise. Oh, this wind is driving me nuts. Go away. Go away. Do I have a pencil out here? Because I want to mark it, so I don't want to go too deep and too far to the side. I do have a pencil out here. Good. And the packer. Everything's good there. So I need to come to there and all the way through that board, and that'll be fine. And this one back to there. It should be fine. All right. A little mark and a little mark. Done. Come on. It's all fighting against me at the moment, but not to worry. Not to worry. This is going to make a noise, and to stop that coming backwards, just putting a piece of wood back up against there so it doesn't go anywhere. All right. These things Okay, this is going to make some noise. How's that looking? Need a little bit more than that. Don't worry about the paint. Paint is easy to put on, not a problem. I can do the rest of that with a chisel. That's better. I think that's going to work. We can check. We can check. This is cypress pine as well, so it's not going to worry it if it doesn't have any paint on it. It's a fantastic timber. Let's see if they'll go in. Only perfect. And down the bottom, what's that like? The one at the bottom's the one I'm concerned about. I need to just open that bottom one up just a touch. Chisel and a hammer. All the fun of it. I use James's hammer, Thor's hammer. Let's come back and have a quick read. Need to mark where for the hinges. All good on communication. Excellent. Quality of the tradesman judged by how they can overcome their mistakes. Adapt and overcome. Just solutions. Excellent. Next week's show is repainting the workshop. Good on you, Rod. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we'll come down to the bottom here and I'll go around this direction. And then around the other way to the other side. Done. So I'm not going to put the chisel down that way. I'm going to turn it upside down. Actually, I'll put it back over there. It's all good. All good. All good. All good. Now, back to where I was. Swing this around here a little further, like so. I think that might work better for you guys. Oh, drills. I've got the drills here, yes. And the screws, are they out here? I need to check the screws there. I don't want to get up and down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. Yep, we are going to finish this today. There's nothing surer. There we go. And then this one. Around. Oh, I have to feed them in at the same time. Back that way a little bit, and this packer up the top here. I think that's going to work well, but I need to pack that top a little more than what I've got in there. I'm going to put another millimetre packer in. So it's 2 millimetres that I have on that side now, and my gap is looking pretty good. Yep. All right. Now what I have to do, I've got to push this in this way and then twist that and drill. And I'll put a screw in straight away. Get up there. Ah, you rotten thing. Come on. Line up. There. Get this in. When I've got this first screw in, gotcha. It ain't going anywhere, and I can check the gaps. Right, that gap is too much now at the top, so we'll take one of those packers out. Let's see how that looks. Not bad. It's possibly too much. 0.75 I think I'll go to. That's a 1.5. I don't know if I've got any 0.75s. What are these? Pierre, what are you doing? You know what, I'm just going to go with that one where it is. You guys aren't seeing much of this, I'm sorry about that, but you can see me when I put the rest of the hinges in, the rest of the screws in. Come on. Gotcha. Well, I'm going to take the packer out of that other side and see what we've got left. All right, so what I need to do now is move that bottom out. That bottom is going to be too tight. So what's happened when I've been doing all this, it's been sitting on there, which has held that gate up. And that looks fine, except I need now I can do one of two things. And actually, I'm just out a little bit as far as plumb's concerned. That's all right. It works, it works. I may take a shaving off there, and I may set this out. I might put a small packer in there. I think packer in there is going to be easier. So let me see what the gap is here. That's 1. I think it might be 1.5. Yeah, okay. Which means I'm going to bring the bottom out this way, 1.5 millimeters. First of all, I'm going to put all the screws in. Come on. But not all the way on this bottom one. Back this one off. Snap that. Pull him out. Slide that down there. Come on. Play nice. Actually, I'll just slide it up from the bottom. I think is going to be the best way. Put the screws back in. What I'm trying to do is line up these now. I've pulled this out a little. I will have to plane that just a touch. Or, yeah, I don't want to bind it. If on this side, this is the important side, let me just bring this over a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. If I close the gap up on this side totally, what happens is the gate will bind. It will come back to a certain point. It won't be able to go any further. Now I need it to have just that little bit of travel past touching. It is going to touch. I've touched there, so we'll plane that as well if it needs it. It needs it just a little bit, not a lot. I don't know how we're doing on the other side over there, but I don't want to reduce that gap. Some more screws. Rotten things. Gotcha. Gotcha. Moment of truth. Does it swing back the other way without hitting the ground is my next question. Remember I made comment, but because these gates or the path has got a fall, beautiful, I'm very happy now. See that? It makes it. Because the gate has got a fall, look, it's following the path, I was concerned that it may hit the ground because it's the high gate. That's why I left it up so high over there. You know what I'm going to do now, whilst I'm working on the gate, we'll put the control over here. Let's straighten this up so it's not too bad. I've just got to take a little bit off that one. It's not going to be too bad. I think it'll be okay. All right. I'm coming over here to get this thing. That's right. This wind is annoying. Now these gates will not expand and contract because I've got, they're painted big time. There's 3 coats, there's a coat of primer sealer and also 3 coats of gloss. Okay, let's put this one on first. Look out away, you silly dog, get out of it. All right, I'm going to put this on here and that there. As I say, I'm going to clean this off, but that one is going to go there. And then I don't have a drop bolt in the ground. I don't want a drop bolt in the ground. I think that's going to be good. So I will take this off. I'll do some screws again. Drill it with the centering. Bring that camera around this side because I'm right-handed. Bring it over fairly close. And I don't want it going uphill. I'll put one on. I think we might be lucky with the depth this is going to go in. We might be lucky. Very lucky. It didn't go through. So now I can put the bolt on and have a look. Now that looks reasonably level to me. I'll stand back a fair bit. Yep, that looks pretty good. So now I'll put the other one here. And the other screw. I was thinking of all different ways of doing this. Let's sag a bit more there. I can pull that side up a bit. But not today. I'll plane that. That'll be fine. Depends on where it is, doesn't it? Right, I'll go and get the other one. I had to buy two of these. I couldn't find a receiver. Bolt looks level over there, Carl. How are the grandchildren, Carl, that you hung out with last week? I took a couple of mine to the Easter show and I got in trouble from my daughter for giving them junk food. If we said to them, right, you've got a money limit, knock yourselves out and get whatever you want. And we should have said, but don't tell your mother. I should have, but I didn't. So she was, fair enough that she was upset. So I bought another full set just to get this guy. I'm thinking they probably think, well, who would do that? So this is the plan, to put that there as the receiver. I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to drop it down a little bit. Now, why am I doing that? Well, because the gate may drop just a touch. It might. I've got that tenon there as well. That's good. That will stop them opening on their own. Love it. Now I can put this in. And I'll move this out of the way. And I'll take the camera out. That's a fault. That's a fault. I hadn't thought about that. This is the part that stops it coming all the way out. Now when I push it all the way in, what's going to happen? Okay, it's going to line up over there. Goes in fine. Should I move this back? You know what, I think I might. I think I have to. Let me think about this for a second. When this comes back this way to there, it can't go any further. So I need to take this back the width of that, and that will still keep those holes covered. That'll be fine. So I need to come back 20 millimeters. Now when I'm all the way in over there, do I have 20 millimeters still in? Only just. I'm going to leave that for the moment. I'm going to think about that a little bit more. No, I've got to move it. I've got to move it. Okay. Thinking on the run. Take it out. I'm going to come back 18. Let's have a look. Slide it in from the other side. No, it doesn't want to slide in from the other side, of course, but that will line me up for my first hole. So there, and then across. But that will let me know as far as it's going to go. Yep, that'll work. A little bit further. I think there. I think so. Take that out of there now. Put it in from the other side. How good is that? It only just has to do it. But now, when I bring it back, it's clear. But it's not going to clear that. All right. Well, every now and then we have great ideas. Some of them work, some of them not so well. Not to worry, I'm going to live with this. Okay, done. All right, move this. This wind is horrible. The weather's been absolutely beautiful. And it picks on today. Well, at least it's not raining. Wind is the worst. When I was building, the wind was absolutely murder. Bring these things back. I may do a little bit of fine tuning. tomorrow when I can focus without people watching. But I think it's going to be okay. If I have to get a longer bolt, I will. This is a 300. I was originally going to use a 400, and that would have worked perfectly. Let's move that out of the way, and that. All right. Put this in. Bring this shut. Well, that doesn't look too bad, does it? What do you reckon? All I have to do, as I was saying, I'm going to plane a little bit off. Those tops are meeting perfectly. Plane a bit off. I've got to do a bit more painting here because I missed it. You're always going to miss a bit here and there. Okay, that's good. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. All right, back over here. I may end up getting a 400mm bolt, and that will get me out of strife. I'll put some putty in those holes, paint it back over, and I think it's going to be fine. I think that will work. All right, next thing, what are we, 10-2? 10-2, let's see what we've got happening here. I'll have a look at the chat. Bolt looks level here too. Grind off the stop. Jared, if he grinds the stop, bare metal, expose the elements. Correct. If doing, I would have made my own receiver. Well, good. Correct. It looks fine. It looks fine. I think that's looking good. The bottom, look at that. Bring it back to here so you can get a better idea of how it all looks. I think it's going to be fine. As I say, I think the 400mm is will be the trick, or a 350, but they didn't have them. Very annoying. Okay. Next thing that I want to do is put this panel in here, and we can do that. That's not a problem. Let me think for a second. I made up some jigs. This is the top beam that's going to go in there. I'll show you a couple of things about this first. So this is the top of the beam. Notice I've got a 7-degree angle on both sides. That's so water's not going to sit on this and pond. It'll shed off to the side. So this is H3 timber, and it's painted, all that kind of stuff, top, bottom, primed, the works. I'm going to put pocket holes, plugs. I'll cut the angle and all that kind of stuff. I've got a jig to set it in position correctly. So let's do that. When I set it all up, where is it? I made these silly parts. Now I cannot find them. All right, I'll find them. I will definitely find them. I was looking for them this morning and I thought, yeah, I really do need to make sure that I've got them out ready to go. Because found them. There we go, under something. Always the way. All right, coming back to the camera. Simple jigs. So easy, so easy. I've got to show you this. That's a life, isn't it? That's a hard life. All right, back on the job. And down here a little bit. I don't want to pull the cable out of the camera. And straighten it up. I think about there is going to be all right. Okay, these things. These jigs, very, very simple. I use a one-handed clamp because if you try and hold on to things and also two sides of a clamp, it'll drive you nuts. That's it. That's it. That's 50 millimeters down from the capital. I don't know if you can see that. Let's spin me around a little bit further. All right, I'm 50 millimeters down from the capital. The piece of wood is 138, so that's pretty easy. That's 188 millimeters from there to there. This is 30 millimeters. The piece of wood is 30 millimeters. This whole post is 88. So let's call it 90. It's an outside project. Let's not be silly about it. That is where my piece of wood is going to sit. Now it's fine here, but there's capitals on this side and these posts are up taller. So to find that side, I will get my level. And I think I've got a pencil here somewhere. I was just using one. I think it's on the piece of wood there. There it is, found it. So I set the level on that one. This is my mate, I don't have to pay down the other end. Okay, that's it. That's the bottom. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. Another one-handed clamp. What are you doing, Pierre? And I'll bring these two guys as well. I'm going to be working from this side. I'm going to do everything from this side. The pocket holes, the works. Everything's going to happen from here. Done. Then this guy can go on underneath and that'll free up my one-handed clamps. Take that one off. And that one. Gives me a whole lot more room in there as well to do stuff. That's good. Actually, I'm going to put two more clamps on. If I've got any more down here. Vicky's decided that she likes using my clamps. I see one. Where's another one? Yep, found two. All right. Back again. Don't you come through, Pierre, you stay there. Pierre, come here. Come on. Leave that alone. Come here. Pierre, come on. I'll put some more on this side at the top. What did you think of the title of the video today? I had a really nice title there, and then YouTube's got this artificial intelligence where they suggest titles. And I thought, wow, I'd much rather click on that title than the title I've made. Okay, now, I need to see if this is straight, parallel to the building, or whether I've set it off a little bit. And that's where I'm going to use the HKC to act as a protractor. I need to put another clamp there and a couple of blocks of wood. And you might think, well, why? I'll show you. I'll show you why. I'll come down the hill a little bit, so I've got enough room for my piece of wood to go in there. Open this up a bit. Underneath. Good. And this one. It doesn't have to be super level, but level would be nice. About there. So now I've got 2 points to rest this on. So I can sit this up here and I can look at it and say, rightio, well, that's pretty good, but I've got a little gap there. This end's perfect. That means that end can be square, and I'm going to have to cut that at a slight angle. I think it's around about 1.5 degrees. And a lot of people would say, David, what are you concerned about? But that's 3 millimeters I've got out there. That's 1/8 of an inch. And that's going to be bloody ugly. The reason I'm not fudging it in and pushing it from the other side is this is a whole lot more accurate to do this way. Next thing, I will get a quick read. You can't have too many clamps, Vicky. You like the clock on the wall. Okay, here we go. So this is the FSK 250. This is what my HKC, which is basically a construction saw that also has a track saw capability. This track, you can't use the TS series, the TS 75, 55 and all of those, because it's got this little top hat section on the track. This part here is correct, but this part here actually locks the saw onto this track. It's a specialized track for that base on that saw. So what I'm going to do is there's an indent. See these little indents along here. I'm going to make sure I'm clear of those. So I loosen all this up. And I want to make sure that I'm going past. Okay, I've got it set on around 7 degrees here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in against there and bring it back. Actually, I need to come the other side of naught. Come back. I'm coming back to around 4 degrees on the low side. So on the back, I've got a stop, and I've got this stop's movable. This is going to be the protractor. Slip it onto there, and then I'm just going to push against that and turn this until I'm parallel to the side of the post. There it is. What did I say? That is 1.25 degrees. I can't, 1.5 maybe. I can't get much more accurate than that. So now what I do is I set this back to 0, tighten it up, and we'll go over there. And I'll bring this camera over here. Stay with me. About there. Maybe. What are you doing, Pierre? Okay, about there. All right. I'm going to use milk crates as a bench or as saw stools. I've got these little guys. This is how we transport the vodka. This is a cushioning material we put in the bottom of the box, bottom of the milk crate, so we don't get any shock or damage. I'll cut one end square. So I'll make sure that the saw is set at 0, and it's not. It's on 1.5 because I was using it yesterday. Let me see if you can see that. So here's my angle down here. And so I need to have that at 0, which it is at the moment. I'll run that square. I love this saw. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. I think it's magic. Maybe they think it's underpowered or something like that. So we'll cut this off square to start. It will make a bit of dust. Done. Now I'm going to set the saw to 1.5 degrees down here. Two degrees is not 1.5, David. There we go, done. Can you see it in there? That's set at 1.5. I don't know if it's going to be bright enough or whether it's too much light on the background. How about I turn it around this way? You may see it there. Beautiful. Now, I've got to make sure that I'm around the right direction and I don't get lost. All right, so it's 1.5 degrees. There was a gap on the far side, which means I have to be cutting this way, which means I turn it around and I'm going to cut from the other side to create the undercut. Turn it around this way. Yeah, to create the undercut on this side. Now I've got to measure, see what we've got. I've got 1477. I'm going to go 1478 from that end. Pencil again, because the other end is my square end. We've already cut square. 1478. Take it back just a touch. That's like that. My pencil mark there. Now the reason I like these rubber things, this is painted and it's not going to scratch it. Not that Dave the butcher was overly worried about it when he was over there working with the multi-tool, but you'll pretend that we didn't see that. I've got the angle already set at, this is going to be 90 degrees because I've set it to 0, but the saw is now set at 1.5 degrees. Now, you may or may not be able to see that, and I've just stuffed up big time. You know why? Oh no, that's right. That's that way. I think it's right. I'm going to go and check without showing you. All right. Now let me think. It's gone the wrong direction, but I've still got plenty left there, so it's going to be okay for me. All right, so I've cut it with the angle there. I'm going to flip it over this way. It's so good. It really is a good idea to leave yourself a little bit of room in case you do what I just did then. I'm going to work off the top. That, my friends, I'm happy enough to show you as I do it. Pop him in there and in there. It's got a little bit of a gap at the bottom, but the top is perfect. The other end, perfect. This post may have a slight lean on it. It possibly does. So that's how it's going to be. Now I can take these off. Method in my madness. And that, move these guys out of the way. And what have we got next? Now I've got a pocket hole. That is dead level. There is no argument at all. That is absolutely dead level. I'm going to pocket hole it there. I'm going to put a mark on that side so I don't get caught, because that could be ugly. So that'll do. I'll go back over here. Oh, that's so nice. And Let's go to a different camera. No, won't ask for money. Squeeze with no more gaps. You can never have to, that's cheating. Won't ask you, Derek. We were all shouting at the screen, no. Were you? Oh, well, there you go. Thanks for that, Derek. Good on you, Rod. All right, what's next? What's next? Pocket holes. All right, so this is the jig. This is basically a transport block or transport housing for the pocket hole block. And I've got an Automax clamp on it. I'll set it up there. We'll put some holes in. Actually, I'm going to work off the center. I'm going to do this one a little bit special. I'm going to make sure that that part is dead center. It's dead center with the eyeball. Done. So I'll use this one and this one. And then move that one to there, which is center, and then do this one. Beautiful. Other end. I think we might be lucky and miss the rain. Like before I finish. What do you reckon, Pierre? Milk crates are fantastic. For working outside, not much better. Slightly out. Now the top has got to be that way, so it can't be any other way. Cool. Pop this back in, just check. Yes. All right. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to prime the end. They're not protected. And even though the paint and everything will stop that being an issue, I will prime the end. Screwdriver. And it is, goodness only knows. There, found it. And a stirring stick. Done. What do you think of my red maple down there? It's starting to come on nicely. That's going to be a really nice tree when it grows. I've got a few of them on the property. It's the one, let me see if I can point to it. There. That hedge, see where the maple is? That's where the bushfire came through. Just came straight through. See everything burnt? Tree over there dead. All of that, that gum tree that's dead, that went up like a rocket over there, and we nearly lost that building. Like that just took off like a rocket. That building was so close to being lost. Would have been so upsetting. Anyway, that's life. I choose to live here. Okay, back over there and get the primer. The primer's down here. Little things like this, you get tempted to say, it'll be all right. Don't need to worry about that. Don't need to worry about the end grain. Well, if you want it to rot, that's a good attitude. So I just use a bit of primer, sealer, undercoat. Even if the enamel or the gloss paint that I use says it's self-priming, I still prime. There's only a little bit left in the bottom there. Okay, where are you? We'll go down and prime it. Switch cameras, because I'll be down here most of the time now. You would cork and grain. Okay, well that's an interesting thing. I've just been reading the comments. Now this is really thirsty. If I wanted to be super duper proficient, what I could have done is coat it with West Systems. And that, in fact, is what I've done with all of these capitals on the tops of these posts, all totally sealed with West System until it's soaked in, soaked in, soaked in. Then painted the underside of the capitals with West System as well. Put it on in position. I'll show you how I did all that in another video. And then nailed it down. Putty in the top on the nails. There you go. Ever have an issue. And they're all right, bottom, top, got to be that way. And I don't care if we lose a little bit of paint in the meantime. I'm going to force that across so that goes in and pushes back. Done. All right, do you mind if I quickly give this brush a rinse? You guys talk to yourself for a second. These brushes last me forever. In a bucket there, fill that bucket up with some water, give it a quick rinse. Done. All right, next thing, pocket hole screws. Now I'm using Blue Coat. It's K-O-T-E, not C-O-T-E. And I'll use that, and that. Put this one in, come back around. So these are a 2-inch. And can you see also now my jig, the thing that's going to... I amaze myself sometimes. I look at things and I think to myself, why didn't I do that the last time? You idiot. I was going to say something else, but idiot will work. All right, let's pop this in. These are Robertson drives. Gotcha. And then you'll look at it and go, well, Dave, I don't think you're going to need to have any filler or no more gaps there. I'll show you why in a second. The screws really pull it in. There you get out of jail free card. Have my back to you for a second here. They pull it up so well. Very, very happy with these. You know what they say, you can't have too many clamps? Well, these screws are brilliant. So these are weatherproof, and also you can use Blue Coat screws in pressure treated timber. Got to make sure I'm going into the right spot there. Which a lot of people wouldn't have realised. Okay, here we go. There. That's where I had a big gap. It's not even 0.004 of an inch. Who's this little guy coming up to do the inspection? So that's that end, and that's that end. And Wayne was wanting to know about how I'm going to do the pocket hole screw sealing. Let's have a look. I wish the weather was better. Not to worry. I'm going to use pine plugs, and I'm going to clamp them in position I'm going to have a quick drink first. "41 thumbs." Look, while we've got a break here for a second, I will show you something else. Something else, another sender or interrupt. Now, come back to this one. You can see that it's getting darker now. Everything behind me is starting to get the same kind of color balance as what I am, because I'm the thing in the front. It's going to focus and get everything right as far as I'm concerned. The background now is going to start having more contrast. Before it was all washed out. Okay, so what do we got here? We have Father Brett Guthrie. Brett, down at Esperance in Western Australia, has a nice little parish down there, and he decided to get his tools out and do some work as well. Seeing this was landscaping, I thought I'd throw up a couple of pictures from Brett. That's after he's finished the stairs down from that particular building. I don't know what the building is, Brett. Maybe you can put a comment in there when you get back from... He's actually in the pulpit right at the moment, so he's busy. And this is a bit of a disabled access plus a step. So he's just gone straight over the top of the old steps that were there, so you can get not a wheelbarrow, a wheelchair, and also it goes onto the concrete down beside that air conditioning unit, and there's also a step there. I think that's fantastic. All H4 timber. Big round of applause, Brett. Going well. Okay, the lid on the paint is also a good idea. Back in here. So I have a whole lot more control on how everything is happening in the shed. Can't even find, oh, the lid's probably out here still. Good, it can stay there. There it is, found it. What are you guys up to? Hey? Hard life being a dog living here. Yes, thanks Jared. All right, I've finished with the pocket hole screws. They can go back over here. I've finished with the paint, finished with the screwdriver. Next thing to do is I'll work off that camera over there again. I'll take all the jigs off and we will cut the panel in. I'll show you a couple of tricks about cutting panels in. It's not as easy as you would first think, if you want it to look good. Now that I've said that, you know, I put the mockers on me big time. David, I'm on just over a hectare. It's about 2.5 acres. This is halfway down. So I go down in the bush nearly to the and all that kind of. They use it because this, and but they're pretty cool. Pretty cool. They just and then scamper off, slither off on the back. Okay. Take that off, and that one. And this one. This fence will go right the way around. You may have seen in the prelude video that I did. It goes around the back there. There's 7 panels in total. That's solid. That is so solid. It's not going anywhere. Now, the measurement that I had there was 1383, I think, or something like that. Let's do it again. We'll measure it again. It might have been 14 something, but let's have a look. 1477. I'm going to cut it 1476. Let's go over here. Okay, is my audio okay now? Sound is dropping. Okay, what I think might be the problem Let's have a look at this. I might switch mics over, see if that makes a difference. Give me a second. We'll go to this camera here. I'm going to throw another one on. Let's see what happens. Battery could be low. Kill that one. Test. Let's try this one. 1, 2, 3. Is that any better? No sound at all. Does it sound better now? I'm hoping so. Should be coming through now. I'm waiting for a little bit of typing. I'm back. Excellent. I think it's the distance that I'm traveling over there to the receiver, and I'll see if I can set that up. I can't set it up any different. The receiver is where it is. I can't move that. Okay. The panel. So I'm going to be up here now for most of the rest of for the show. So let's see how we go. Move that and that. I was going to show you the really good way. I'm going to put the plugs in after, I think. Look, it's easy enough. What you do, these are a plug. You can make them yourself. You've got a little angle on the end and a tapered section. Glue. I have this little thing I made. There you go. This thing here I made, and this is a plug pusher. So I put the plug in there like that. Glue, paintbrush, put the glue all over, slide it in, and then take this off, and that leaves this exposed just a little bit. And then I put a little block with some baking paper on it and a clamp over the three of them. That will pull them all in tight, but I want them sitting out just a touch. Then I will hit it with 80 grit sandpaper, take it back, so it's like, once it's dry, I should say. I don't try and sand these while they're wet. And then that's it. That's how you do it. It's easy. So this part now, we'll get the fence panel and pop it on here. Put this back. Oh yes, this is a great part of the world. I absolutely love it. Vicky and I are very fortunate. Well, I'm very fortunate I'm married to her. Then she said, buy it. All right. All right. All right, my beautiful. Let's get the panel. Now these panels are not designed for safety fences. So you can't use this. This is a 900 by 40 odd, 900 high by 40 millimeters wide, 35 maybe, or 38. I guess 38 would be an imperial equivalent. So these aren't strong enough to be used as an ordinary balcony railing. Now that said, I would feel safe with one of these with a large beam on the top and a large beam at the bottom. The gap between them, according to the Building Code of Australia, a sphere of 125 millimeters shall not be able to pass through. That's basically a child's head. So and it's not supposed to be climbable, and it's got to be a meter tall. So with all those things in mind, you would still have to check whether your local building certifier or local council would allow you to do that. This is going to be screwed as well all over the place. And this is not a protection for stopping people falling off a house. This is a garden path in a backyard. This is known as a boundary fence, or how to keep Dave in the good books. Let's move back over here. All right, now I did mention that there's a special way of doing this, and I also need to switch cameras. Maybe like so. Come over here. It's got brighter again, which is fine. The car's charging and I'm happy. 3. There we go. I've measured it and I've forgotten, so I'm going to have to measure it again, and I'll write it down this time without being a wally. All right. This down here, I've got 1470. I'm going to 1476. And I'll do it on this piece of wood here. Okay, 1476. That's what I want. Now I want my spacing at the end to be identical at that end and that end. So for the bars, I don't want to have a big gap and a small gap at one end. I want them to be the same. So what I'm going to do is measure from here 1476. And I am, how much to there? I've got 92 millimeters there, so I'll write this down. 92, and this end, 1476, I've got 68 at this end, 68. There you go, that's what I've got. That's not 1192, that's 92. So that's the little post. I'll just colour that in so I don't get confused. And this is another one of those. So that's my 1476 is from here to here. So I'm going to add those two together. 15, 16. 160 divided by 2 is 80. So now I'm going to cut the end off this at 80 millimeters back from the outside of there. So I'm losing about 10 millimeters off the end. I'm going to do that at the bottom as well. Okay, Pierre, if that starts going anywhere, you catch it for me, buddy. 80. Again, I measure from 100 or 200 in this situation, doesn't matter. Does not matter. I'm going to use the HKC to do this cutting. This is aluminium, or as you guys in the States call it, aluminum. I have no idea why. You probably spell it differently. Spell it wrong more than likely. Take the battery out. Let's spin things around a bit. Go back over here. And up just a touch. There. All right. My aluminium blade. I can use that because it's the standard blade. It's a 2.2 millimeter. With the HKC, they come standard with a 1.8 millimeter wide blade, I think. So what I've done there is I've hit the lock, push that down. I should be able now to undo this. It may not lock terribly well. There it is. How's the sound going? Is it still all right? Open that up, drop it down. So I can use a 2.2mm blade in this, but I can't use a 1.8mm in the TSC because it won't clamp. It's designed to take a 2.2mm blade. It won't hold a 1.8. The aluminium blade, slide it in. This clamp has got a couple of keys on it that locks it in. I love this saw. As I said before, some people think it's underpowered. I haven't noticed that. Maybe they need to sharpen their blades or they're expecting a whole lot more. I don't know. Pop it back onto here and we're ready to cut. I'm going to have my back to you for a second. What have we got there? That's deep enough, I think. Yep. Battery. Oh dear. It's important to take the battery out, even though when you move this thing forward, it kills everything. But I don't trust things. You know, in the end, it's me holding onto it. Okay, a bit of noise. And again. It's hitting something there. I don't know what it is. There we go. What? Oh, it's catching that. All right, I'm going to have to stand it up for this part. What was happening was one of the things was hitting this bar here. I'll spin it around so you can watch all the excitement. What do you think, Pierre? This is upside down. It's not going to worry it too much because it's all going to be screwed to the underside of the wood. That's better. Done. Other end. Now, I don't know how much you guys have been exposed to using roofing iron and flashings and everything that go with roofing iron, like the ColourBond stuff. The flashings normally come with a plastic coating that you peel off. And if you are familiar with it, you'd know if you leave it in the sun for a few months, that plastic actually starts to bond really badly and it's a pain to get off. Same thing with these on the top and the bottom. I'd left it for about a year. It was in the sunshine and I spent a good 2 hours cleaning this yesterday. It would have been cheaper for me to go and buy another one. But just a heads up. What do we got? I threw my length away. 1476. Pencil. Starting to rain. 1476. I don't think it's going to be heavy. From that end, and that should give me equal spaces both ends. 1476 and 1476. I'll come over that side. What do you reckon, Pierre? It gets very hard to see these pencil lines. You might have thought, oh, he's going to be in trouble. They normally spring away. There's my mark. Done. So the gap is the same. This distance here is the same as this distance here. Balanced. Now, 3 holes. Do I have my drill bit out here or not? I had a 3mm, I think. The other drills. I'll leave that bit in that drill. I'll get this one. What have you found there, Pierre? Give me a second, I'll grab the drill. Oh, that's right here. We'll go with that one. Drilling through the top. And one back. How are we doing for time? Not too bad. I thought it was going to be about 2 hours. Sound is still good, I'm guessing. That's looking pretty slick. Okay, some more tricks to show you. I'll switch the cameras back down there again. Still good, excellent. So the sound might come and go again while I'm down there. And I'm sorry about that, that's all I can say. 3 of these, and that drill there. It's got the hex drive in it. Not the hex drive, the square drive, Robertson drive. Now this is pretty easy. You can use a clamp if you want to, but I prefer just putting 1 screw straight in. Like that. Up to that point, slide it into position. Like so. Put the screw in the middle. One. Two, and the last one, it'll pull that up, give it a bit of biff. Cool. Gotcha. Now, down the bottom, what we're going to do, put some special lugs on there. Give me a second, I'll see if I've got the special lugs. It's a lovely gate. Look at that, straight in. The wallaby can't do that. He's not. Now the wind has actually been pretty good because it's shown me that this method is going to work. Oh, I like it. Beautiful. Okay, so these lugs, all of this fencing system is designed to go with alum or steel posts. I don't like steel posts. That's why I've done it all in wood, and I'm much. It comes with these little guys. See this little here on the bottom. The way the bottom. You get them the same color as whatever you're putting in. I'm going to slide the fence out a little. that in. And the same at this end. Back in till it's sent up. Beautiful. All right, grab the driver. And I use roofing screws. So these are designed for steel roofs, not for wood, but they will still work in wood if you want to. It's kind of a dark colour. I'm not going to show. Right, they don't need any holes drilled for these. We just need to make sure that we're in the middle. Excellent. Back it off just a touch. And the other one. Gotcha. Other end. Now, and the last one. Gotcha. Do now is put the plugs in. We have a fall on the top, both directions, 7 degrees. We've got the same on the capitals at 7 degrees. This, I was thinking about whether primrose or black. I was going to go white, and then I decided it was going to be very expensive because it was a special order for my particular situation where I live. And then I thought primrose because it'd marry in with the colour of the building behind. But by the time all of these plants, the Daphne grows to be a solid hedge right the way through here, and I finish it in line with the top of this on the inside, the black will disappear because this is going to grow through and it's going to, you know, be all over the place. And the colour of the Daphne flowers and this fragrance and everything's going to be magic. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Let's come back up here. Sound is in and out. Camera down. Is it? Where? I don't think it is. Wayne, you're a bloody wag. Okay, sound's got to be better now, guys, hasn't it? Let's come back to this one. All right, can you hear me now? You should be able to. Oh, you want the camera face down? All right, I'll do that. I'll do that. There we go. So you can have a look. I think the sound's going to be better now. Okay, let's go back to, now my mouse isn't working. If it's not one thing, it's another, isn't it? This one. There you go. That's how it looks. Okay, I think that's going to be great. As I say, the black will disappear against the bushes. I want all the area where the gate is to be white because that's kind of your entrance to it. So if I set up another camera to look down there, you might get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so you can see that the gate area is saying, I'm a gate. That's all there is to it. This is a gate. This would have looked really weird having black beside it. I wanted this to look, you know, uniform. If I want to further down the track, I can paint these and this black. It's not going to stress me out. I might do that. See, I've got a little bit of painting to do over there. The gate looks bloody magic. As I say, I'm going to shave around about 1/8 of an inch off the top. The bottom is perfect. I haven't got a problem with the bottom at all. I've got good gappage over here. I didn't want to pull it over too far because things are going to start happening, but that meeting point is absolutely spot on. I love it. I love it. This is a really nice looking gate. And then to get in, it's just a matter of that. I'm going to put a magnetic receiver over this side because I have this galvanized bloody put on here. So I'll put a rare earth in here at all and have that go right over to there and have a magnetic receiver over there. And just make a little there. I'm going to have to sleep on it. Can't have that noise. Can't have that noise. Let me have a look. I could use oil, but I'm going to use a silicone lubricant. See what happens. Saying, oh, leave the squeak, it's good. Rubbish. That's much better. Nearly all. Beautiful. This side. It's not doing it yet, but it will never do it because I'm going to hit it before it gets me. Love it. Picture of what it looked like before. Oh, let me shut it. That's so nice. All right, let's see if I can find a picture before I started this project. That's what it was like. And you know what? I reckon it's really worthwhile doing it. When you make an astragal on the gate jamb, you're out of range again. Combination black and white looks classy. I think so. I think so. Anyway, you can hear me again now, definitely. I can see the things going. And it was all based on that bench that I built a couple of years ago. I mentioned the other day that it was 9 months. No, it was the toolbox I made 9 months ago. Forgive me, I'm getting old. And now, that's what it's like now. Very, very happy. All right, so go back to here. I don't know if you even saw any of those. I don't know if I double clicked. Let's go back to it again. So I'll do the picture. That's what it was like. Lutyens bench, the design, and then back to it now. Astragal. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll look it up. Anyway, I think it's bloody beautiful, and it's going to keep the wallaby out. I've moved all the solar panels. I've got to think about what to do with them. I don't want to throw them away. They're bloody handy. Why would you? Those two that I put up as an awning are working brilliantly. It runs all the internet connections for me overnight during the day, and runs the computer and the 3D printer if it's a sunny day. If it's not a sunny day, I go mains. Big deal. Now, in the future, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start doing some videos on my solar setup. You see this building behind me? It has 4, 3, 12. It's got 12 panels on the flat roof just here. That one. Up on the top here, these panels, I've got 6, 7, 8, 9 up there, and they are faced to pick up the winter sun first thing in the morning. They are aimed at 60 degrees. So whatever it is, I'll remember it another day when I start doing the video. Azimuth 60. So that's the winter solstice. 45 degrees on purpose to maximize winter. Up on the house, I have panels facing south and east, and they are designed to pick up azimuth 120 during summer, the summer solstice. It works. It just works really well. So I think what we need to do is I'm going to do 3 videos on solar. I'm going to do a video on my solar setup and why I've done it the way I have, and my advice as to what size you should use, what size you should go if you've got the capacity. I'll do a video on why I bought an EV and how I integrate that with the solar system. Mercury, Mars, all of that. What would you call it? Solar power generator, solar panels. And also then I will be doing a video on how I charge the car and some other things that are interesting regarding solar power. And for people that aren't aware of the terminology with a lot of the stuff, who aren't aware more than I am not aware, and we'll take it from there. And also I will be doing a video, I'll do some short videos, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, on the different stages of this construction here, of this gate and post build. So people can use that as a reference rather than watching a 2-hour video, because a lot of people just go, oh my God, 2 hours, you've got to be joking. And it's amazing how many people start switching off after 30 seconds if they don't like what they're watching. Anyway, I'm going to get going. You like more videos like this? Okay, John, I'll be doing these as well. Like, the show is the show, and I really don't care now whether it runs for an hour or 3 hours. It's I don't want to get rushed. I want to be able to do the stuff and problem solve before I duck. Oh well, I've got to shoot off now and get Vicky from the markets. But no, it's 1 o'clock. I've got till 2 o'clock. So I'm going to put those plugs in over the pocket hole screws and clamp it up, and it'll be ready. I'll throw a tarpaulin over the top of them. Of course, if it does rain this afternoon, I don't want those getting wet, because the end grain is going to be exposed on the plugs. And I don't want it to have water, soaking in and, being horrible. I'll be using Type 1-3 for that. I'm not going to use resin. I may take that gate off and plane it this afternoon as well, so that it's all ready, and get some paint on it as well. Yeah. So look, that's the show for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again to my patrons for supporting me in this time that I'm now unemployed. I had to pull the pin because it was just wearing me out. So I'm happy to do this stuff, but I still need to put food on the table. If you can find it within your budget to support me a little bit, that would be fantastic. Everything we have here, I've got from working life. This is nothing really here has been supported apart from putting food on the table. Nothing here really has been supported by what I do on YouTube. This is my passion, what I've done. Film how to do the plugs, please. You know what? All right. You know what, Michael? Just for you, you're not going to have any sound. I will put 1 plug in right now. Then I'll stop the show. Okay? You can hang out with me. Normally it's in the workshop, but I thought you might want to have a look around the property a little bit as well. This is why I've just got a smile on my face all the time. I know I'm blessed. I live in heaven here. This is beautiful, except for bushfire season. Or when the snakes are getting a little bit too friendly. They come into the workshop now and then. All right, plugs, let's do it, let's do it. Where are we? That, there's no plugs there. We'll get this, I'll get a small paintbrush from over there. That one still works. I wash these as well. These are tiny little paintbrushes. I got about 50 of them for about $2 from China. It's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it. Okay, first of all, here's my plug pusher that I made. I'll slide that in there, like so. Bit of glue. This is really basic stuff. Bit of glue on the end, like so. And all the way down the back. Okay, you can see it all on there. That's the glue on it. You're not going to have sound when I go down there to the other camera. I'll tip it up a little bit for Wayne. There we go. Bring it in nice and close. Like that. There's the plug. I think you can see it there. In it goes. Done. There's the plug. Sorted. I'll do the rest of them. Why not? Let me see. Push that one back. I'm on a steep incline here, so I'm just adjusting the tripod. Not too much, David. And up. And like so. Do the other two. And that might be enough for you. Still got you all. No one's left. I'm amazed. All right. I might even do the other. I've still got ages before I need to go and get Vicky. I'm putting the other plug in at the moment up at the desk in front of the computer. I'm going to switch the cameras around for a second. It's very important to get as much glue on this bottom section of the plug as you can, because that's going to be holding on to the furthest part out of the pocket hole. And if you don't have glue there, what happens is the end of the plug can lift. You need to keep the tail of the plug down. Back to that other camera. I think my mouse is just about dead. There we go. So that part that I'm talking about is this little tail part here. So I've got that on there. I'll slide this in. And wiggle. That one's gone in too far. So I'm going to pull that back out with a chisel a little bit. It's the only way to get these out, is to use a chisel, a sharp chisel point, and do that. And then I can move the glue around a little more, push it in so it's almost flush. That's not too bad. And the last one. Again, there it is. Slide it in. Done. A little bit of glue. I did a video on how to make this. Just search back through my videos. plug pusher, I think I called it, something like that. It'll have Craig in there. But you have to search on my videos. Don't search on YouTube, unless of course you go Dave Stanton, pocket hole, plug pusher, or Craig, something like that. Otherwise you'll bring up so many different people that I don't want you to watch. Okay, last one. How's that? That's pretty good. Oh, we've got a tarpaulin coming around behind me. Try and get some glue. See how I'm rubbing it like that? I'm trying to get the glue washed in behind it. Now I'm going to put a clamp on it. Only on that one. It only needs a clamp on that one. Done. Beautiful. There we go. Alrighty, 24 degrees Celsius. If you have a look around here, this helps me. This is brilliant for the garden. I can see at a glance from anywhere on the property what time it is and how warm it is. I love it. It's just those clocks, if you're interested, those clocks I got from Kmart, they're $20 each, $19, whatever, 20 bucks. And what I did was these parts here and the little holder, I painted the same color as I painted the wall. So it gives it the effect of disappearing, just floating there. Needs more paint, it's wearing off because they're not designed for outside, they're designed for inside. And I thought, you know what, for $20, why not? And it's efficient or effective. Okay, all right, I think that's it. Let me come back to this one. And let's see what we've got here. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other. I will not have a Patreon meeting this afternoon, but thank you everyone for helping me out with that. And if you can give me a thumbs up as you're leaving, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and click the bell icon and then click it again and it will ask you notify all. Click that. And I think that's it. Keep on coming back. Let your friends know if you're interested, if they're interested in woodwork or watching an Australian guy have a bit of a go at something and get some fairly decent results. See you later. See you next time.